Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to C.A.R. Entertainment. I'm your host Dylan Hamilton, and today guys we're going to be continuing with our A22 biology revision videos. We've previously covered selection last time out, and now we're going to go on and talk about species and some about speciation. Darwin's going to be heavily featured in this video because of Darwin's finches being the example we will be using. So let's get straight into the video. So we'll first go through what the process of speciation is, and then we'll give you a definition of species and speciation. So the actual process of speciation is whenever you reach the point reduced where the population concerned will actually form a new species. That's what speciation essentially is. It's just whenever the population becomes so reduced that it will actually form a new species. So what is a species then? Well, a species is a group of individuals of common ancestry that closely resemble each other and are normally capable of interbreeding to produce fertile offspring. Horses and donkeys produce sterile mules, and therefore this is when mules are not a species. Speciation is the formation of a new species that are reproductively isolated from all species. That's just a better way of putting it. So, two distinct procedures in speciation. Well, the first one is that the original species can be separated into two or more populations that will become reproductively isolated from each other. Speciation will occur that way. Different forms of directional selection can take place in each of the isolated populations, with the result that over time the populations become so different that they remain reproductively isolated from each other even if they subsequently come into contact. The initial isolation is usually geographical. Genetic divergence is a separation that will occur between different populations, and there will be slightly different environment conditions that will encourage natural selection. The consequence of directional selection and genetic divergence is that the number of reproductive isolating mechanisms develop that prevent interbreeding and gene exchange should be isolated and populations will overlap. So speciation will occur when interbreeding between isolated populations become impossible, and there's this thing called allopatric speciation, where speciation involves initial geographic separation followed by genetic divergence, and this is what Darwin had in his, and this is what we're going to talk about now in Darwin's finches. So the original finches reached the island of Galapagos, and there was little competition, and so there was new feeding possibilities. This thing called adaptive radiation occurred where mutations occurred independently in speciation. So the new species formed, and there was an ancestral species beforehand, and they came together. They had further interaction and interspecific competition, and there was two possible outcomes. Either the first one species eliminated the other, or both species evolved further, so there was niche divergence. The most intense competition occurred between members of both species in an area of a niche overlap and selected against. So there's reproductive isolating mechanisms, and these include barriers to the reproductive process, where mechanical barriers to mating or fertilization, where offspring become infertile and reproductive cycles are no longer synchronized. Behavioral isolation, where different populations will develop different courtship rituals. Ecological isolation is where different populations can become ecologically isolated from different habitats or food preferences. Thanks for watching this video. I've been Dylan Hamilton from C.A.R. Entertainment, and I will see you next time.